winner of the New Jersey Press Association's Most Innovative Award.
Welcome back to Greater Media Broadcast News. I'm Suzy Shia, bringing you the top headlines in Central New Jersey. Here's what's going on in your neighborhood. The downside of benefits, new bicycle tour route, teen struck by train, skimboarding in September, and making room for history. The skyrocketing cost of health benefits for New Jersey's public employees has officials scurrying to stave off what they say would be a crushing blow to the state economy. Governor Chris Christie told an audience in Long Branch recently that the state will pay more in benefits for retired employees than it will for active ones over the next year. And with the state's pension and health benefit programs more than $40 billion in debt, the state has to raise $4 billion in tax revenues just to make the required pension payments for the next 4 years. Assemblyman Declan O'Scanlan said public sector benefits are simply too generous, and he plans to unveil a package of reforms before the end of the year. For more on the issue, see this week's editions of Greater Media Newspapers. And here's Mark Rosman with more headlines.
A public hearing has been scheduled for 7 p.m. September 9th at the headquarters of the East Freehold Fire Company on East Freehold Road in Freehold Township to make residents of Fire District Number 2 aware of a plan to build a new firehouse. The project's architect will present plans for the new headquarters and answer questions from residents. Residents will be asked to approve the $7 million project in a referendum that has been scheduled for October 14th. Only residents of Fire District Number 2, which covers Freehold Township east of Route 9, will be eligible to vote in the referendum. The new firehouse is proposed to be constructed at the intersection of Kozlowski and Dutch Lane Roads on land that was donated to the fire company several years ago. Officials said a heavier volume of traffic on East Freehold Road is making it difficult for firefighters to back today's larger fire trucks out of the firehouse. The new headquarters is expected to have drive-through bays to allow for easier access for fire trucks entering and exiting the building. You can read more about this proposal in this week's news transcript.
Governor Chris Christie came to Seabright to announce a new $8 million project. Here's Greg Kennelty.
Governor Chris Christie announced at a press conference on August 28th that the state of New Jersey will commit $8.5 million toward the reparations and further construction of the wall in Seabright. The money will be supplemented by an additional $2.98 million previously committed by FEMA. The wall extension will stretch 600 feet from East Surf Street to River Street, effectively providing a previously absent seawall along the public beach access area behind the municipal parking lot located on Ocean Avenue. The state is also working with FEMA to repair the northern section of the seawall for about 1,200 feet and filling an existing 20-foot gap at the trade wind section of the borough. Christie said he hopes the borough can see work begin by spring 2015 after the project goes out to bid later this year. The New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection will be handling the project. Repairs to the damaged area along the seawall will include removing sand, furnishing and installing capstone, sealing the tops of the jetties with concrete, and backfilling the area with sand. For more information, see your local Greater Media newspaper.
And here's a roundup of headlines you need to know. JCP&L is proposing a $6.5 million project in Old Bridge, and residents are encouraged to attend an informational session on September 9th at the local Knights of Columbus office. Construction is scheduled to begin later this year, and the project should be completed and in service by next June. The New Jersey Department of Transportation has announced the release of its newest bicycle tour route. The route is split into 4 sections and extends mainly along the shore and inland areas from Cape May to Sandy Hook. A 17-year-old Hazlet resident died after being struck by an NJ Transit train at about 5:30 a.m. yesterday. A preliminary investigation by police found that the resident, identified as Nicholas Kansky, stepped in front of the train and made no effort to avoid it. September might be here, but that doesn't mean summer is over, at least not in light of the 11th annual Skim Bash competition. The skimboarding event will take place this weekend in Seabright. And here's Mike Pavlichko of Greater Media's WCTC with an update on Rutgers football. After that, we go to Tim Morris with more on local sports.
Well, the Rutgers football team is off to a good start so far in 2014 in more ways than one. Remember that 5-0 I talked about as being a possibility a couple weeks ago? Well, still very much a reality. A tough game against Washington State, but the Scarlet Knights won the opener 41-38. And yes, the defense did give up a lot of yards, but coaches, when they talk about winning in football, they talk about three things: offense, defense, and special teams. All three phases you got to be successful in. Well, in the fourth quarter, the Scarlet Knights were. Special teams came up with a forced fumble and a fumble recovery on a punt return. The offense punched it in, going 50 yards for what would be the game-winning score after being down by 4. And then the defense came up with a big hold on Washington State's last possession. So there you have it. Special teams, offense, and defense coming through. Jonathan Aiken, who forced that fumble for the Scarlet Knights, was named Big Ten Defensive Player in the Week, and he's the first Scarlet Knight to get a Big Ten Weekly honor. And perhaps the two toughest teams left in that 5-game stretch, with Washington State already in the rearview mirror, Penn State, and they struggled in the ground game against Central Florida in their opening game in Dublin. The ground game, a Rutgers defensive strength. The air game, not so much. But Navy, the other toughest opponent in that stretch, they don't throw the ball a lot. They run it, and it's going to be fun to watch Navy and Rutgers battle it out on the ground in Week 4. So a good start for the Scarlet Knights, so long as they avoid that potential trap game this Saturday against Howard in the home opener. I'm Mike Pavlichko on 1450 WCTC and WCTCAM.com.
For fans of high school football, the long wait is over. While some schools are waiting until the weekend of September 12th to start, the 2014 season officially kicks off this weekend with a limited schedule. On Friday night, Howell travels to Freehold Township for a battle between rival towns. Middletown North hosts Freehold Borough, welcoming the Colonials to the A North Division, while Red Bank Catholic welcomes Wall to its Count Basie Stadium. On Saturday afternoon, Middletown South visits Marlborough for an A North contest. In Middletown North wearing white and Allentown in red played their final preseason scrimmage in preparation for their season openers. Allentown is looking to return to the state playoffs, while North is looking to restore its winning tradition. For both teams, the tune-up produced enough positive plays, running and throwing the ball, to score touchdowns. Plays like these were encouraging signs for the Lions and Redbirds, and gave them both cause to be optimistic about their seasons.
Back up, coaches!
Both offenses appeared to be in mid-season form, making big plays up and down the field, some producing touchdowns.
Move back, coach!
They did not forget to play defense, as both teams proved capable of containing the other. And making big plays themselves. This is Tim Morris for Greater Media Newspapers.
And here's Amy Rosen with what's happening around town.
Civil War history buffs might want to visit the Robert E. Lee Civil War Library and Research Center located at 94 Green Street in Woodbridge. The library was founded in 1997 when Maxine Carey donated her late husband's huge collection of Civil War books to the Woodbridge-based Robert E. Lee Civil War Roundtable. Now in its 25th year, the Roundtable brings together those with a shared interest in the American Civil War. Over the years, the library's collection has grown to more than 2,000 volumes of books, magazines, pamphlets, and newspapers. Students and members of the general public with an interest in the Civil War are welcome to peruse the library's resources on site because, unlike the public library, they cannot be borrowed. You can read more about the Robert E. Lee Civil War Library and Research Center in this week's edition of the Woodbridge Sentinel. It's all yours now, Susie.
If you think the race towards sports betting has been cut short, you're wrong. Here's Kenny Walter with the latest developments.
Senator Jennifer Beck is leading a group that will meet with representatives of Governor Chris Christie to discuss recently vetoed legislation that would legalize sports wagering at racetracks and casinos in New Jersey. It's Sports wagering, which is currently only legal in 4 states, is seen as a potentially significant source of revenue that would strengthen the horse racing industry while helping to offset tax increases. Along with Beck's meeting with Christie, Senator Raymond Lesniak has scheduled a September 22nd vote to override the governor's veto and legalize sports wagering. If successful, Lesniak has said that he would like to place the first legal bet at Monmouth Park Racetrack in Oceanport.
For more in-depth coverage and additional stories, see your Greater Media newspaper today. To keep up with the latest headlines, see us at facebook.com/Greater Media Broadcast News. I'm Susie Shia. Thanks for tuning in.